Well, it was actually myself and a good friend, Agnes Blades. Was our idea. And how we came to this conclusion was she knows all too well about KIAs because her husband was killed in Vietnam. He's one of the names on the Vietnam Memorial. She remembers the day that the uniformed soldiers came to her house. She was hanging clothes on the clothesline, and she had a 2-year-old and a 6-month-old. So she knows very well. So about 2.5 years ago, the traveling Vietnam Wall came through. So, I don't know. Agnes and I, our job for the wall was to try to contact as many family members as possible. We wanted to honor everybody, of course, but we wanted to make it very special for all the KIAs that were on that wall from the Eastern Shore. Family members that we found of all these KIAs, they would actually come up during our county ceremonies and would put a live red rose that represented their family member. It was probably, and if I talk too much about it, I get very emotional all over again. So Agnes and I, we found out we were quite a good team together. So we spent, I can't even tell you how many hours trying to cold call people, sending letters. Are you related to so-and-so? We're going to have a special ceremony. I believe altogether there were 76 KIAs from the Eastern Shore, among the 9 counties. And we found all but 11. Agnes and I both had more than one person say, "This is so nice. I thought when I die, he would be forgotten." So I said, no, never be forgotten. And that's why we came up with that theme of remember me, because we just won't forget. And this one particular brother, I met him in town because he had a better picture for us to borrow. And I still remember we decided to meet right inside Target. And he had the picture of his brother, like he was hugging it. And when I saw him, I looked at the picture and I looked at his face, and you could still see the hurt and pain that was 50 years old at that point. So there are so many moments that Agnes and I connected with these family members. It became very personal, very emotional, and it kept driving us. We just couldn't stop. And when this was all over and done with, we decided, I said, Agnes, let me check around, but I think we've got another project on our hands here. And she said, what's that? I said, I don't think there is any memorial for KIAs from World War I, II, or Korea. I said, let me check it out. So I asked around, and then I asked Pete Lesher. I volunteer with him at the museum. So I got in touch with Pete and I said, hey, Pete, is there a KIA memorial like they have for Vietnam? He said, no, there isn't, not in town. And I said, well, do you think it's time that we get one? And he said, absolutely. And I said, Agnes and I are up for the challenge, and I know we'll have the auxiliary behind us as kind of like who's really doing this, So he said, I said, it'd be perfect, because Agnes and I went to where the memorials are now, and we said, this is perfect. Look, if there's a Vietnam memorial, there's this huge magnolia, this other huge magnolia. This place was meant to have that memorial. So he told us how we had to go about doing this. We had to obviously go before the council with our proposal. And at that point, we had already met with people from Shore Memorial. And we told them what we wanted. And Kurt is the one that came up. I said, we want 3, we just don't want one huge, massive slab of marble we want one for each one. We took a trip to DC and went to the Korean Memorial, the Vietnam, she's been there so many times because of her husband. But the Korean one of the quotes we had run across was "freedom is not free." And we thought, oh, it's kind of cliched, you know, it's kind of like too generic. But then when we went to the Korean memorial, that was on the wall. And that memorial is just outstanding. And we said, that's going on the Korea. And then we wanted a picture of a grieving soldier, because that's something that they all did. You know, they all, no matter what war it is, there's a comrade who survived that is grief-stricken for the comrade that didn't. You know, these are people they eat with, they sleep with, they fight with, they protect each other. And now they're in the ground. Anyway, the grieving soldier, I thought, you know, that's a nice finale. And then across the bottom is the poppy field. And even though that was more iconic for World War I, a lot of people don't know that, but running the poppy field across the bottom, because we still use that image of the poppies for our veterans. So running that across kind of gave it continuity, but the facades of the stones are shiny enough. You can, on a sunny day, you can see the reflection of the trees. And we wanted them to look like they might be dancing a little bit. I've been to Normandy maybe half a dozen times. And the last time I was there, this is one of the quotes that's in the chapel at the cemetery at Omaha Beach, you know, the one where almost 10,000 Americans are buried. It's the American Cemetery. This time I was with a daughter-in-law, and I knew at that point that Howard Hill, one of the World War II KIAs that was on the monument, was buried in that cemetery. And my daughter-in-law, we had the row and everything, helped me find it. I can't even tell you what an emotional experience that was, to see Howard Hill, his cross. I got back, did not know that Howard Hill had an infant son when he was killed. And that's Tom Hill, who lives in town. So we were contacted by Jackie over at the Rotary Club, the Flags Across America. And she said, we'd love to give you some money for this project. We're really excited about it. And so we said, sure, we'll take money. Tell us what we have to do. And she said, and this was last December, she said, you need to, we'd like to have you come in. So we went in and we gave a little presentation. And I explained how one of the names on the wall, I said I had the honor of seeing when I was in Normandy in June. Howard, and then afterwards, someone came up and said, you know, Howard's son is here, right? And at first it's like, I'm not hearing. I said, what? Howard's son, Tom, he was a baby. He's here. And I said, like, here? I mean, I still couldn't believe it. And they said, yeah, see that man over there? That's Tom Hill. That's his son. And all I could do was just go up and hug him. And I started crying. So, you know, it's just this whole journey was just meant to be. And I just have, it's almost like someone handed this to me from where, I don't know, handed it to Agnes and I and said, this is your, this is going to be your mission.